Alright, so we're going to look at one of the first side series for this game. This is Shin Megami Tensei Gaiden, Last Bible. And Last Bible here is, this is actually a Game Boy game. So it's on the Game Boy. And it does have an English version. I've never played the English version. I can't vouch for it in any way, but if it's the same game, it's a good game. But the English version is called Revelation Demon Slayer, I believe. And I've never played the English version, but this version, Last Bible, on the Game Boy. There's also a Game Boy Color version, like a colorified version, but I heard that the color palette they give it is terrible. So I don't, I've never seen it. I only have the black and white version, but you know, the Last Bible here is a Shin Megami Tensei game in kind of gameplay style, but the setting is not modern day. It's kind of a fantasy setting. So, you know, there's towns and kind of an overworld where you walk around like it's like kind of you mixed Dragon Quest and Shin Megami Tensei into a kind of hybrid Game Boy game, which is it's interesting actually. That it's a little more younger person friendly, I guess. It's kind of the character designs are a little cutesy. They're more like Dragon Questy, I guess, where, you know, like it's not quite as you know, adult oriented as the other games are, but it's still a fun series. It's not that long. You can play through this game pretty quickly. You could, I mean, if you were really into it, you could probably play through it in 2 sittings maybe. But it's still a good RPG, fantasy based again. But, you know, Shin Megami Tensei battle system, basically, and kind of demon fusing and stuff that goes on. So, you know, you'll go through and you'll be able to negotiate with demons and have them join your party and stuff. So that's, you know, it's still got all those elements, just on the Game Boy and in a kind of classical fantasy setting. So, good stuff. And the second game we have here is, again, Shin Megami Tensei Gaiden, Last Bible 2, and this one does not have an English release, and it's pretty similar actually to the first game. You have a lot of different kind of, I mean, the story is different obviously, but you know, again, if you can see on the box that the character designs are a lot cuter than they normally would be. So it's kind of like, you know, you can easily tell that it's more directed towards kids, and that's not like a terrible thing. I mean, the setting is still another fantasy setting, and you'll find that like this one actually has a little bit more interesting story than the first one. There's kind of like the shock surprise thing with the main character, which is cool. But beyond that, you know, it's a little bit more kid-friendly standard RPG, but I definitely recommend it. And then in the Last Bible series, we've got this one. This is Last Bible 3 on the Super Famicom. And this one, again, it's more cutesy, but it's kind of weird in that the character designs are like interesting in the sense that, like, you know, they're kind of cutesy and colorful, but, you know, not in a way that is cute. I don't know how to explain that. Like, they look like Disney characters gone bad or something a lot of the times. Like, sometimes you'll find characters that are like, you know, just they're really weird looking, but that's not a bad thing. I'm not saying like it's awful or anything. It's actually quite a fun game. This one is a lot of fun, and the character designs are just, yeah, I think I laugh at them more than anything, but not because they're stupid or anything, but because they're like so just like oddball character designs, and I think I like that about this one especially. It's like kind of it's, you know, obviously more younger person oriented, but because it's on the Super Famicom, the graphics look really nice, and it's actually like a pretty interesting playthrough. So Last Bible 3, if you can play this one, definitely check it out, because just even if you can't understand Japanese, it's worth it to play it just to like encounter some of the monsters at first, because you'll see what I mean by how like just weird they look, and how like delightful it is when you come across like all these new ones. So yeah, definitely check out Last Bible 3. So yeah, that's it for Last Bible, but there's plenty of other series to look at, so let's look at those. Okay, so we talked about Last Bible, and Last Bible I was saying is more kid friendly Shin Megami Tensei, but they kind of ditched Last Bible after a while for another series that's more kid friendly, and that series is actually Shin Megami Tensei Devil Children. And Devil Children here, this one you can see is a Game Boy Color, but it's also can work on the regular Game Boy. And there's actually this like it's like Pokemon mixed with Shin Megami Tensei, so everything is really cutesy, more cutesy than Last Bible, and it's very like you do definitely get a Pokemon vibe from it, because it's kind of like in that same era where like they were just like, well, I guess we can make this kind of Pokemon related and get kids to buy it. But it's not. They actually do a pretty good job with it. It's not my favorite series by any means. It's almost any series where I have to play as a kid, I'm not so fond of. But this one, it's not horrible. It's actually a pretty fun game, but I'm not like super into the Devil Children's series. I don't have them all. It's like it's the one I have the least amount of stuff for. But yeah. Anyway, Devil Children. This is Black Book, and then there's also Devil Children Red Book. And Black Book and Red Book are like Pokemon like Red and Blue or something, but unlike Pokemon Red and Blue, they came out at the same time, but they're two totally different stories, and they have two different main characters, and they're intertwined, sort of. They're intertwined, but not in a way that's like it's the same story. You actually have entirely different locations, and it's not like there's just a couple extra demons. It's actually quite different. So the stories are completely different, which makes having both of them actually worthwhile, because the stories are different. It's like two totally different games built on the same engine and like with slight crossovers, which brings me to this one, Shin Megami Tensei Devil Children White Book. And White Book is the third part of this series, but again, it's not just there's extra demons. It's totally different story, totally different main character, and it's just slightly related. They're like sequels that all came out near each other, which is pretty cool. It's much better than I think like how the Pokemon series did it, where it's just kind of like you can get this one or two extra different Pokemon, which I always thought was stupid. But I'm not a huge Pokemon fan. Maybe I think I'm too old for that kind of stuff. I was too old when it came out. Like, I was 20 when Pokemon came out. I wasn't going to get into it, even though I played it. I played the first Pokemon and I thought, wow, this would be awesome if I were 10. But I was 20, so it didn't work out. But anyway, we'll continue on. We've got Shin Megami Tensei Devil Children. This is Book of Darkness, I believe. I don't know the English name, actually. I think it's Book of Darkness. It's Yami no Sho in this one. And yeah, this one I bought. There's actually Book of Light, I believe, is the second half of this, and again, they have totally different stories. But I heard that Book of Darkness was the more difficult one, so I got this one to try out, and it's actually a pretty good game. I actually enjoy this one, but again, I haven't gotten the rest of these, so I still don't have Book of Light, and I still don't have the other two. There's Book of Fire and Book of Ice. I don't have those two. I haven't tried them yet. But, I have to start with Book of Light, and then I'll move on. There's also another one that I actually do want to get, Devil Children Messiahlizer. It's actually, it's like a Game Boy Advance RTS in the Devil Children world, which I'm interested in. I've only heard about it. I've never actually seen anybody who had it. So um, I've been planning on picking it up, but I just always forget to get it when I make orders and stuff. So eventually I'll remember it. I have it on a list somewhere. I just keep forgetting about it. But I'll definitely get that one eventually. But that's pretty much it for the Devil Children series. But there's other two kind of related games in that there aren't actually RPGs, sort of. I mean, there's this one, Shin Megami Tensei Devil Children Puzzle de Call. And if you've ever played Sokoban or Boxy Boy, you know that you know this game because it's pretty similar. I mean, it's the same game with a Devil Children skin. And the only thing really that's different is that there's kind of every couple of stages there's a boss battle, which is it's kind of a cool cross up. But if you've ever played Digital Devil Saga with Digital Devil Saga 2, there's a part where you can like play a game on a game machine with a kid, and that kid will make if you finish all the levels, the kid will give you something. But that game on the machine is this game. It's pretty much the same. So if you've played that game and you liked it in Digital Devil Saga 2, this is the game for you. Or if you like Sokoban or Boxy Boy, I mean, I think those are the same game. But it's pretty much the same except for boss battles. And it's fun if you like puzzle games, but it's not an RPG. So if you're looking for another Devil Children RPG, this is not it. And lastly, we've got this game here. This is Shin Megami Tensei Trading Card, which is Card Summoner, I guess. Card Summoner is a Game Boy Color game, but it's spectacular. I don't know how to explain it. If you've ever played SNK versus Capcom Card Battlers or whatever, Capcom versus I think it's SNK versus Capcom Card Battlers. I don't remember the exact name of that game. But if you've played that one on the Neo Geo Pocket or the DS, it's very similar to this. I mean, the rules are the same. It's pretty much similar. It's very similar. If you liked that game, you'll like this game. Because there is an overworld to walk around and you talk to people to get new cards, and you mostly do card battles, just like the SNK versus Capcom one. And I loved that game, and I loved this game. I don't know why. We never got card battle games really on the any systems really in the US. It wasn't really popular, but in Japan it was crazy popular. There's card battle game for everything, and I find that I really enjoy these. I really like those SNK versus Capcom ones. I have it on. I even like the one on the DS that got terrible reviews. So maybe I'm a bad person to give a recommendation for in this case, but I like this game a lot, and it's pretty cheap. So if you can find it and you want to muddle through it with no translation, be my guest because it's a great game. So yeah, that'll end the kind of Devil Children stuff on the side here, but we'll continue on with something a little different.